And we're back. Alright. I will just turn these all back on. All the rewards. I feel like if you go on a quest to change a god's mind, that leading to atonement would be cool. Yeah. Okay. The story of how the party changed the mind of a god of undeath and evil to atone to one of good and ancestry. Huh. That could be cool. So yes, agree. But in that case, you would have to have, I think, you would have to have something to like very you'd have to have some ammo to like really change their mind, right? You'd have to have something kind of groundbreaking, something pretty big. And the party doesn't have that. They don't have that kind of ammunition prepared for once. They've had so much prep for everything else in the game, but this is the one time where they don't have like a golden bullet in their pocket. If like that was what they wanted to do, like all they have is like, I mean, think about it. Think about it. You know, we could be friends. I like you, you like us, until we tell you we're from Eden. So why can't we be friends? And yeah, I just don't think the party's prepared for that. They could surprise me. They could pull out something. But it's like, I feel like it's a situation where diplomacy rolls alone aren't gonna change Salamander's mind. There's some situations where like you can't like change what someone fundamentally believes by just like rolling well. And like Pathfinder 2 kind of has stuff for that. Like you can make an encounter out of talking to someone, like arguing with them. Maybe I should look up those rules. Why don't we just look, huh? Like again, I don't think this is exactly what they'll go into, but I should have it ready in case. I should have an idea of it. So like, oh man, where even are they? Running modes of play. I kind of think it's in encounters. Okay. Let's see. Fleeing enemies, social encounters. This is what I'm looking for. I also have something let me see. I can. Where is Nightbot? Gift a sub. Do you have to pay for it? Hold on. That can't be. That can't be right. Okay, I don't know how to gift a sub to Nightbot. We'll do that later. I just wanted to make a blue emote out of VG Very Blue. Dumb pun. Anyway, social encounters. Most conversations play best as a freeform role-playing. Yep. With maybe one or two checks for social skills involved. Sometimes, though, a tense situation or crucial parlay requires a social encounter that uses initiative, much like a combat encounter. As with any other encounter, the stakes of a social encounter need to be high. A failed social encounter could mean that the character is imprisoned or put to death. A major rival becomes a political powerhouse, or a key ally is disgraced and ostracized. I can't like talk right now. Very weird. My tongue feels huge. Using the structure of an encounter is helpful because it makes the timing clearer than in freeform roleplay. and each character feels like they're contributing. When running a social encounter, establish the stakes up front so the players know the consequences of success or failure, and the circumstances that will cause the encounter to end. You have much more flexibility in how you run a social encounter than a combat encounter, extending the length of rounds by 6 seconds, allowing more improvisation and focusing less on special attacks and spells all differentiate a social encounter from a combat one. In most cases, you don't need to worry about characters' movements, nor do you need a map. Too bad we have one! Some examples of social encounters include proving someone's innocence. I don't need examples, it's fine. Initiative and actions. So just use this combat rounds, kind of initiative in a turn order. On a character's turn, they typically get to attempt one roll, usually by using a skill action. Let the player roleplay what their character says and does, then determine what they'll roll. Allow them to use any abilities or spells that might help them make their case, though keep in mind that when most people see the visual signs of a spell being cast, they think someone is using magic to try to influence or harm them, and they have a negative reaction. Good social encounters include an opposition. This can be direct, such as a rival who argues against the character's case, or passive, such as a mob that automatically becomes more unruly as each round passes. Give the opposition one or more positions in the initiative order so you can convey what it is doing. You can create game statistics for the opposition, especially if it's an individual, but in situations like that of the unruly mob, you might need something more than establish a set of increasingly difficult DCs. You might need nothing more, not some... Okay. Welcome back. I'm sorry. I was, responding directly to what you were saying. Just to give a brief version of what I said before. Welcome back. Basically, I was saying that fundamentally changing what Salamander thinks probably takes more than just, like, going and talking to him. They probably need some evidence, some kind of something more than just what they're saying, you know? Like, just rolling well on a diplomacy check won't really change Salamander's mind, won't bring him to Eden's side. And I was just looking through here to see if anything in here contradicts that. So, like, they would have needed to prepare more for that case than just, like, going and talking to him. They need something more, and they don't have it. I think. They might prove me wrong, but... So I'm just looking through the social encounters just in case. Maybe we'll go through, like, an initiative-based social encounter. The rules are here, so I might as well potentially use them. Yeah, gods have domains based on their convictions. To be fair, it's probably not exactly an Eden sucks domain. It's probably a little more nuanced than that. A little less directly Eden related. So this talks about, because there's no AC or target HP to whittle down. Chapter 4 includes guidance on setting DCs for social skill actions, often using a target's will DC. If you need a DC for people who don't have stats, such as a crowd or an NPC for whom you haven't already generated stats, use the guidelines on setting DCs found on page 503. It seems like this is just a series of, like, difficulty checks for skills. Attitude conditions, hostile to helpful, provide a useful way to track the progress of a social encounter. Use these to represent the attitude of an authority, a crowd, a jury, or the like. A typical goal for a social encounter is to change the attitude of a person or group to helpful so they assist you, or calming a hostile group or person. You know what they could do, though? What they could do, though, is they could go through this, and they could, like, change the target a little bit. Like, not a lot, but a little bit. I can see a situation where they convince Salamander that, like, hey, don't burn all of Eden. you're just burning potential followers. Like, burn down the council itself, and we'll help you with that. We'll, like, you know, there's potential for that. So maybe we'll do this. Maybe I'll have these rules up. Maybe I'll have these rules up. Yeah, I'll leave that open. I'll leave it possible that, like, they can engage in some debate with Salamander and convince him that not all of Eden is his enemy, and that only very specific things represent, like, the old. There is a system for this, like more than the social encounter system in the core rulebook. Or do you mean, like, literally a non-Pathfinder system? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So that, you know, they roll initiative and they make a series of skill checks, and I think it'll be like get Salamander to like them or to think that they're worth his time, and then it'll be convince Salamander that, like, most of Eden is worth saving. Yeah, roll right. Yep. That's what I'm looking at already. Okay. Yeah, we'll let me just copy. This isn't even gonna go to where I want it to. Is there a way to? This is exploration. Can I click social encounters? Oh, sure, that works. Is this new for this campaign? I mean, usually it's not like a full encounter, right? Usually, like, 1 or 2 checks can do it. Like when they were talking to, when Solus was talking to the general. Like, that was only 2 rolls. So they haven't done anything serious enough to warrant this, I guess. That couldn't be handled. Yeah. I'm on the wrong layer, aren't I? I'm always on the wrong layer. Okay. Why'd that get smaller? Why'd that get so much smaller? There. This is just turning into a bunch of rules. You might want to prepare yourself for debate GM, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing. Like, a social encounter is way more volatile. They could make all sorts of... They could try to steer it in all sorts of directions. So I feel like there's not a ton to prepare for, other than, man, I better be awake. I better be real awake. Okay, so there's that. What else do we need here for the Salamander fight? Because they're gonna, let's see, take notes from Salamander's perspective and get a good idea of his convictions and personality. That's fair. I already have him pretty well internalized, all things considered. Like, I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about, like, what he stands for and everything. I guess what I should probably do is put my thoughts in his words instead of just having them nebulous. Like, I don't know. I should have what I should do is I should have a list, like a checklist of just Salamander buzzwords. Such as the Flames of Rebirth and you know, stuff like the Tower of the Old Ways. Stuff like that I've already converted those things, but I can come up with a few more. That's a good idea. I'm gonna check on who's here. Is anyone who, something I want to start doing? I mean, the audience is pretty, it's weird because there's not actually a lot of crossover between like the actual play night tomorrow and like the prep night tonight. It's like different groups will show up for both. So but I'm curious what people think of the, you know, of the sessions. So I think during like the recap part, I'm going to start trying to ask people just what they thought. You know, people can feel free to speak up about what they saw. I think that's like, you know, the interaction part is the cool part of Twitch. So I would like to encourage that. Although, you know, like I said, not a ton of people watch the actual play yet. So that might just be a future thing. But if anyone does have any thoughts, if anyone was there and watched and if anything stood out, or if I misrepresented anything in the recap, let me know. And yeah, I'm happy to talk to people about what they saw. The party will have 4 people coming up with arguments against yours, and if you want it to be a challenge, I recommend internalizing your inner flame lizard. That's fair. That's a good point. Yeah. I should probably give the fire elemental stats. Hold on. Let's just... Okay. What I need to do... Oh, man. What I'm worried that the party's gonna do... So here's something I'm concerned about. Is that the party's just gonna fight Salamander while there's a bunch of people around. They're not gonna do anything to block the people out, and they're just gonna be like, we're gonna fight this like this. And either I'm gonna make that way too hard, or I'm gonna make it way too easy. Like I'm not gonna find the perfect middle mark, of like, I don't know. Is it fine that they just can't handle everything here? Is that okay? Could definitely be a campaign ender here, I think. So, on the one hand, they're definitely just gonna get they're gonna get like captured if they all get knocked unconscious. On the other hand, like we talked, oh, this is a thing I need to do. Here, let me just add to my checklist here. Let's see. Make flame cone template. If there's already enough story from this world, then you could go for the kill. What I might do, I don't know. We'll see. I don't suspect that my players want to abandon their characters. I think they're pretty attached to their characters and would like to see them progress more. Which doesn't mean I'm gonna like pull punches exactly, but maybe they'll go unconscious and I'll talk to them and be like, hey, do you guys, we'll have like a brief conversation about it. But I basically what I think is gonna happen is that they're gonna get captured and like Zima is going to help them out. Imprisonment is still a continuation, yeah. But basically, I just want to see where they're all at with their characters. And if they get all knocked out, then like some of them, if someone wants to abandon their character or retire their character, they could conveniently perish or like, you know, their burns could be too bad to be recovered from. We'll see. And I think I'll also be having them make like straight death saves, so there's got to be a big repercussion though. Like world changing. Well, on the one, okay, so I They spent a decade in prison and Eden is destroyed. The thing is, they have strong friends coming, and they also have, like, Brass coming. So, okay. The one world-changing repercussion is that Brass just wins after they fail, and he gets put on the throne, which is a big deal. I don't want to spoil too much here, but that'll be a big deal. And if it happens, we can talk more about it. But Brass is a big deal. Let's put it that way. On the other hand, they have strong friends coming other than Brass. Like, they have the Harpies on the way. So, like, they've done enough setup, and they also have Zima here, who happens to like them. Zima was, like, following them, spying on them, keeping an eye on them. Brass is not a friend. Brass is a rival, and I think Brass would let them die. If like, Brass isn't inherently going to save them, you know? But he's not above accidentally saving them, I guess. He won't, like... He's got a certain image to uphold. Is King Brass going to be comfortable with them running around his kingdom? So that's when... That's a thing I don't want to spoil. But it will be a not ideal situation for the party. We'll leave it that way. And it, like... How much Brass dogs them kind of depends on how much they bullshit with him, you know? How much they put up with. But yeah, to the more, like, as I started to say, they do have the Harpy friends coming. Let's just here. I didn't update the date. They have Harpy friends coming the next... Is it the next day? Let's see. Hold on. G39? That sounds right, actually. I might have already marked it. Yeah, okay. Already marked the date. The Harpies are coming... It's not the next morning, right? But it's... I guess it kind of is. Let's see, that's how I laid this out, right? So the Harpies will arrive the night of January 10th, which is what I've been marking here. Where they spend the night is what I have marked. So, like, January 9th, technically they started F38, then they arrived in G39, and that's where they slept. So, Harpies arrive not the morning that will be starting with tomorrow, but the morning after that. So if the party, like, fails, they get locked up, Zima helps them out, and then the Harpies arrive. Like, that, the situation has changed. Although, like, you know... I'm definitely going to do the thing where if they want to fight again, once the Harpies arrive, like, people who go down are in danger. He might just saw someone in half with his scary salamander teeth. Like, you know, the second time around fighting someone, they're going to be much more prone to executing people, so. It's not coincidental. I have it marked down, right? Like, I counted it out last time. So, like... It's kind of convenient for me that they're, like, I don't know. They're rushing in they happen to be rushing in just before the Harpies get there. Like, they haven't talked about the Harpies coming at all. I don't know. Point being, since I mapped out how long it would take the Gnolls to walk up there, and how long it would take the Harpies to fly over, with their fly speed, their travel speed, like, I think it's fair. Narratively, it might be convenient, but I don't know. I'm letting the world act as it would. I'm not gonna, like, adjust their arrival time, just to suit the narrative that I want. Does that make sense? I was looking up salamander teeth. They don't actually have teeth, but They have like a bone structure in their mouth. This is what Salamander's got in his mouth. Just saw teeth. I guess it's kind of teeth. I don't know. He's got the big version of this. So, yeah. He gets mad. If they go and fight him again, someone might get sawed in half. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. Anyway. So that's where I'm at there. Even if they've been a bit impatient, they have the prep work of, like, they sent messengers to the Harpies. They asked them to send help, and that is the one bit of help that will arrive for them. Yeah. I was on the train of thought that the party would be imprisoned and potentially enslaved or forced to watch the destruction or something. Yeah, the trajectory, let's put it this way, the steady state of the world is that Brass becomes Emperor. And that steady state has changed to Brass becomes Emperor when he brings home the head of Salamander. So if the party does nothing, that will happen. As it stands, if the party fights Salamander and they wound him and then they all fall unconscious, then they're just kind of making that easier for Brass. So that is the failure state, is Brass becomes Emperor. Brass taxes. So, like, I don't know. As much as it currently looks like Salamander is the big bad, Salamander is just the next story beat, really. Let's see. So there's that. I don't remember what we were talking about to prompt all that. So that's currently my thoughts, I guess, is that party might go unconscious, get captured, get helped out by Zima, and the Harpies arrive, like, while they're recovering. And then, like, their situation is changed. They might try again with the Harpy help, which I have kind of prepared, but what happens if the players fight instead of doing the social encounter? Well, if they fight without doing the social encounter and all these people are still here, like, if they don't talk to Salamander at all and they just jump on him, they're gonna get fucking peppered with arrows and arcane missiles and fireballs, and they're gonna have a bad time, I think, is the short version of that. Like, this is a situation that needs to be dealt with. This is not... They don't succeed through these crowds destroying them unless they crit like a motherfucker. I mean, that's what prompted the conversation. Oh, got you. Got you. Thank you. Sorry to retread that ground then. I was going to recap again, but I think I would have been repeating myself for the 7th time, perhaps. So I think I'll avoid that. Point being, if they fight Salamander twice, Salamander's going to be impatient and fuck them up the second time if they make a mistake. I think I need some generic stuff here for these guys. It doesn't have to be a lot. I just need some attack rolls. They can all be minions with, like, 1 health. Which could be a problem if Sunus wind balls them, I guess. Maybe they'll be minions with, like, I don't know. We'll see. Let's write some stuff down. They don't have to be super strong, but they're going to be... Let's change colors one more time, shall we? Navy blue. So they'll have, like, I don't know. They don't have to have a lot of bonus to sometimes hit the players. That was wild. Give me that back. Okay. Let's see. So there will be a bunch of bows, probably some fireballs, probably some magic missiles. I don't want to deal with like melee characters coming over. Yeah, it's... what's the base level for a fireball like DC is like about 16? Is that right? No, 17? I don't know. We'll make it 18. It'll be okay, or they won't be. 66 damage. Magic missiles are just 3d4, right? Right. And I'm just kind of hoping that they don't go this route. So I'm going to try not to prep too many stats. And if they do go this route, I'm just going to be like, hey, that's fine. I need a quick break. I need to put together some stuff then. Yeah, so like 3d4. Wow. I think they can be level 3, right? 44 missiles. Why do I keep... Okay. This is weird. This is a weird cover of this song. That's fine. Alright. Alright, and I have like the... Okay. Alright. So let's talk loot, shall we? And like, I don't know if anyone has ideas to clean up the encounter, we can talk about that too, but I think I'm mostly happy with what exists. Maybe I should make this slightly more readable. That's too big. Definitely too big. 32? No. Maybe I shouldn't. This space is so big. Oh, it gets smaller. All right, that's fine. It's a little better. Okay. So let's add handout and work with this. Maybe I should work, I don't know, somewhere else so it's a little more visible to you guys. It's like this text is going to be pretty small. Salamander plus Harpy. So, the Harpies are going to have some gifts for the players if they wait for their help or accidentally wait long enough for their help. They will have there'll be 4 feathers that basically give them like a form of levitation. Lets them move their move speed in the air. Let's look at levitation. So it'll just be like one of those, what do you call them? The talismans, the armor things. You like attach them to armor. What the? Did I spell levitation wrong? Am I dumb? Hold on. I spelled it right. Is levitation not the spell? Is that not the spell in Pathfinder? Huh. Well, let's go look, I guess. I don't even know what level it should be. Huh. So there's water walking. Airwalk? Airwalk will work. That's actually pretty neat. Okay. That'll do. So when you, like, say the command word, I provide airwalking. Whoops. Okay. So there's that. And then there's also going to be like an air-aligned, shoot, what's it called? Not an artifact. The other thing, relic. For Sonus? That'll be like a gift from the Harpy God. And I think I've kind of already decided that the Everburning Ember is going to be kind of a relic that Ludwig can use. And that Eve's Jade Dagger is a relic. So. And yeah, the glove, the relic for Sonus is just going to be like a glove that has these like talons for the fingers. I think that's pretty cool. Might have some like white down or something on the back, but mostly the talons made from what appears to be like actual bone or whatever. Oh, welcome, Wes. I'm sorry your internet is flickering. My Comcast has been real rude this week. So, this week. More like this year, to be honest, but, so I feel you, and I'm sorry. And thank you for stopping by. Is your day going okay aside from that? I hope. Oh, super crazy storm. Okay. That's a little more fair. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Spectrum. I'm doing all right. I had a kind of weird day. Kind of a weird day. I'm on my vacation right now. And, like, I woke up around noon after staying up pretty late. And my body keeps doing this thing where it wakes up when it's, like, not actually gotten enough sleep yet. So I woke up, I played One Step from Eden for a while, got Valorant access and installed it. And then I passed out real hard. So... yeah, I went back to bed for like 2 hours. So that's been my day, but it's been good. Really excited to play more Valorant. Got through the tutorial. If it wasn't Pathfinder Day, I would be super playing that right now. Even though, I don't know. I've got too many games to play on stream, so I'm not going to make a habit of playing Valorant unless I'm playing with other people, but Michael also has it. And, you know, a bunch of my friends are trying to get it. So there might be more Valorant when I'm playing with them. We'll see. And yeah, right now we're just working on loot for this fire salamander boss. And here, I'm just gonna pull this up in a drive. That'll do. I pasted that like into the address bar like it was gonna do something. Oh no, I turned it back on. Okay, sorry. I was about to freak out about not having my rewards turned on. Okay. So. Oh yeah, these NPCs are still, like, alive. These NPCs are still alive. That was all I was thinking there. Okay. Let's do another, yeah, heading to actual loot. Oops. Let's do it in Notepad so it gets rid of the formatting. Yeah, we don't need to bullet list it. This is fine. Okay, so what do we have here for Fire Relic from Salamander? Is that what we want? Maybe. So what's gonna happen with the Jade Fang if they like kill Salamander and have time to do it? Eve's gonna be able to like jump on one of these pillars and activate absorb whichever ability she wants from one of these pillars. So you know we've got the line nuke, we've got the blinding fireball, firewall like AOE thing, and then like the portal that opens, like pulls in elementals that'll allow her to like summon an elemental or something, and then we'll work on what the ability actually does when she picks one, because making something that's balanced for all four of those, it'll take work, is what I'm saying, and we might as well only do 1/4 of the work. This might result in I let Eve use a very overpowered version of it for a session, and then actually like tone it down and make it what it's supposed to be. But yeah. So the party's gonna expect like a lump of gold from this, and I don't actually know where they're gonna get it if they don't like go into the temple. Just preface that, right? So we'll do the same amount, 3d6 times 100. Salamander, yeah, the treasure sack that he, you know, wears it like a fanny pack. It's just hard to see from here. Slash, it's just part of his body. So 3d6 x 100 gold, just the same amount as before. You know, if the party rolls well, they'll get another freaking 1500 gold. In the chamber, just inside the temple door. All TTRPG enemies have an organ called the treasure sack. So I agree with you if we're talking JRPGs. TTRPGs, slightly different, I feel like. Maybe it's time for a staff. There's got to be like a staff of fireballs, right? Right? Let's just look at the staffs. We're just gonna click a bunch of these. Staff of Evocation sounds about right, and Staff of Fire sounds especially right. Staff of Illumination could work. So let's look at the Staff of Fire. What? Wow. Produce flame and burning hands. Do you have to be like... To cast from a staff, does it have to be in your spell list? I imagine just yes, but I'm not super sure. I always forget. Ah, yeah. So you need to have it on your list. You need to be able to cast spells of the appropriate level. And yeah, expend the charges. Expend charges equal to the spell's level. Okay. Okay, so like a Staff of Fire will have limited use. Probably? They're probably gonna hit 6 shortly after getting this, so I don't mind giving them, you know, slightly upscaled item. It doesn't actually say how many charges it comes with. I'm sure there's a rule in like the staff rules to say how many charges it has, but I'll figure that out later. It's not really important. Okay. Continual Flame, Searing Light on the Staff of Illumination. What? Okay. The cost increases. It doesn't tell me what else increases other than the cost of Continual Flame. What? I'm so confused. So as Continual Flame is heightened, it just costs more? Am I missing something? Like, I must be, right? So it gives the same brightness as a torch, doesn't need oxygen, doesn't react to water, doesn't generate heat. And as you heighten it, you need more ruby dust. I don't understand. Duration is unlimited regardless. Takes 3 actions to cast. I'm so confused. All right, that's fine. We're gonna go away from... Okay, a ray deals 5d6 fire damage. The target is a fiend or undead, you deal an extra 5d6 good damage. If the light passes through an area of magical darkness, or targets a creature affected by magical darkness, Searing Light attempts to counteract the darkness. If you need to determine whether the light passes through the area of darkness, draw a line between yourself and the spell's target. Critical success, target takes double fire damage, as well as double good damage. Heightening it equals plus 2d6. I think we'll go with the Staff of Fire, probably. It is a little upscaled, but I kind of don't care. You know? Huh, okay. Wow, some of these staves are very strong. Oh, this is also in the treasure list. Maybe I'll leave this ambiguous. Like, this could just be a bone from Salamander, to be honest. Salamanders have bones, right? Or, like, cartilage? Yeah, they have skeletons. We'll just leave it ambiguous. There's a pin in that in my head of maybe a bone. Possibly in the loot chamber, possibly not. So they're taking his head. They have to take his head back to Eden, right? I wonder. Okay. I'm just thinking, I might be trying to tie in too much here. I think maybe like embedded in Salamander's skull is like... So, Eve's Fang, the Jade Fang, actually has like this resonating crystal in the base. That's what allows it to like pull powers from these, basically to activate these pillars. And I'm thinking maybe Salamander has something like that. Just embedded in his skull. That maybe enabled his flame power before he was actually like a deity. Enabled him to breathe fire and everything. This is a frantic-ass song. Let's see. But I don't know if I actually want to give that as loot. That might just be me being like lazy. I think they'll just see it and it'll crumble, and I'm gonna try to find another way to give out a second relic without it looking too suspicious. Possibly? I just want them to get something. I want them to be able to get something off of Salamander when they kill him. Like something that is near him? Let's look at relics. I think maybe there will be like some offerings on here that are not destroyed when he starts exploding fire cones. I just kind of don't want there to be two fire-based relics, so maybe it won't be a relic exactly. I guess the other one's not technically fire either. That's kind of funny. Okay. Let's see, is there a track list? So past the one at 112. Okay. Let's see. Heat Haze, Flare Bolt. A bolt of flame scorches out from the relic. Make a spell attack roll with your relic against a target within 30 feet. The bolt... The bolt deals 1d6 fire damage for every 2 levels the relic has. You know what it might be? Maybe it'll be... They might never figure this out. But I think it'll be a death relic? While this shroud is active, you take it. Yeah, so I think I'm not gonna worry about the gifts too much here, because we can change or tweak those, and like technically the Death God in my the Shade of Death was like not your typical Death God. He was kind of like he's basically depicted as an angel, so there's also like some aspects of healing, some aspects of mercy, and there's an aspect here of if you see the Shade of Death before it's your time, he will like return your life to you, basically. So there's opportunity to tie different things in here. So maybe it'll be like, what are some cool death style relics? Or like some, you know, something that maybe like the ferryman for the River Styx might have, you know? Other than a paddle, because this is a very paddle-centric campaign, so just to get away from the paddle thing. Like, it could be an amulet, but that feels lazy, maybe? I think maybe it could be scales, or, like, some kind of incense burner? You know? You know? Let's see. So it might be a mix between, like, death, celestial, probably not life. Probably not life. Not directly. Let's look at celestial. And then in a minute, I'm going to take another break, I think. Run upstairs quick. Yeah, Divine Retribution, Heaven's Grace, this is the kind of stuff. Yeah, Word of Faith. Exactly. I picture the Shade of Death as actually kind of the most, like, Catholic of the old gods in this world. We'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. So let's separate that. Offerings on the on Salamander's platform. So a little more gold, silver, and copper there. 1x, what is it called? Runestone? Thing that holds rune enchantments. Let's see, like, transfer them around, right? I don't remember what it's called, but we'll just call it a runestone. Maybe it'll be holding a rune? No, I want it to be an open one, basically. Maybe two. There'll be two runestones there. What's kin warding? Can deflect attacks aimed at your allies. When you use this weapon's parry trait, you can point the clan dagger at an adjacent ally instead of defending yourself, creating a shield of runes around them. The runic barrier grants your ally the weapon's circumstance bonus to AC, but you do not gain the bonus yourself. Oh, I didn't even really know this was a thing. This is what happens when I don't play in a campaign. There's like so many player-side things that I just don't have any idea about. This weapon can be used defensively to block attacks. While wielding this weapon, if your proficiency with it is trained or better, you can spend an interact action, to position your weapon defensively, gaining a +1 circumstance bonus to AC until the start of your next turn. So like bow staff, clan dagger, main goosh, tekokage. That's a cool trait. So is kin warding. Shifting. You can shift this weapon into a different weapon with a similar form. Interesting. The weapon takes the shape of another melee weapon that requires the same number of hands to wield. The weapon's runes and any precious material is made out of applying to the new weapon's shape. Or the weapon's new shape. Disrupting? Oh wow. Dealing 1d6 positive energy to undead. That might be cool. One disrupting rune. Cool. I think that's enough. If I get both of these, that's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of loot. Scrolls would be burnt away. Let's see. Up here, we'll do in the loot chamber. They can have three of those. Flare-style fireball scrolls. So, like, the maximized fireballs that deal 6 damage. The maximized... There's a better way to put that. The ones that have much bigger size and don't do, like, any damage. I like it, yeah, consumables. Sorry for all the alerts, my bad. I was just like looking through, trying to search for like fire and stuff. Spell strike is expensive. I mean, not expensive, it's high level. More so. Beacon shot. Let's look at oils. Nah. It is called a runestone. Neat. Okay. There's a fan feather token? I didn't know that. Deteriorating dust. Dagger of eternal sleep. Okay, let's see. Fan it in a given direction. Wow, that's physics breaking a little bit. If this direction is towards the sail of a vessel, the feather flutters up toward the sail and fans continuously, filling the sail with air and granting the vessel a plus 10 foot circumstance bonus to speed for 8 hours. Great. Otherwise, it's a single cast of Gust of Wind. That makes slightly more sense. Okay. Deteriorating dust. Potent caustic agent. Spread it over an object. The dust quickly fades to a transparent color, and the object immediately begins to rust, melt, or otherwise fall apart. For the listed time, the object takes constant damage. If the object has hardness, then the dust gradually reduces the object's hardness instead. Deals damage to the object as previously described. If the object survives, reduced hardness returns after the dust duration expires, but any damage remains. That could be fun, I guess. Dagger of Eternal Sleep. Until activation, it is too small and ornamental to function as a weapon, which might allow it to be passed off as a weapon-shaped decoration. Interact, you transform the Dagger of Eternal Sleep into a +1 Grievous Striking Dagger and strike an unconscious target with the dagger. If you are not in an encounter or otherwise threatened, and you roll a hit with your strike, you get a critical hit instead. The damage from the strike and the bleed from the critical specialization do not awaken the target. What the? Though the target becomes temporarily immune to this effect until the next time it wakes up, meaning further Daggers of Eternal Sleep awaken it as normal. The dagger disintegrates immediately after use. What the heck? That's scary. I don't want to give that to Eve, really. Nah, yeah, not really, no. We'll pass over that. Talismans. Jade Cat, Monkey Pin. Okay. Savior Spike. Feather Stepstone. Sneaky Key. Sharktooth Charm? Pyramid-shaped spike is attached to armor or to an armor's piece. Chest piece, rather. When you activate the spike, it shoots a strand of force to help you gain a purchase. If you roll a success on the triggering attempt, you get a critical success instead. You're tempted to grab a ledge, but you haven't rolled. Okay. That's kind of funny. With a bit of feather or flying insect within, when you activate the stone, you ignore the effect of any difficult terrain and greater difficult terrain you move through until the end of your next turn. Oh, okay. Feather Stepstone? Sure. That sounds fun. We can include that in. Sneaky Key. This small silver skeleton key can be pinned to your sleeve when you turn the key to activate it for the next minute. If the outcome of... Okay, let's see. If the outcome for any of your attempts to pick a lock is a critical failure, you get a failure instead. Okay. You just don't completely fuck up. Shark Tooth Charm. If you fail the acrobatics check against grabbing a creature. Wow. That's neat. That's neat and scary. That's weird. So, like, shark teeth just emerge from your skin and help you grab onto things. Huh. Wild. Okay. Alright. Like I said before, we'll be happy with this. So yeah, we've got a bunch of gold and silver in the chamber below if they go there, including a Staff of Fire, some Flare Fireball Scrolls, and one Feather Stepstone. On Salamander's, like, altar, on the offerings there will be a relic that's like the Scales or Incense Burner or something like that. There will be 2 runestones, 1 Disrupting Runestone, and then some small amounts of gold and silver and copper. So, cool. Cool, let's transfer that over, shall we? I brought up this to make it more readable, and then I just didn't zoom in at all. I'm very... whatever. Very smooth, very, very smooth. Okay, so there's all that. Okay, so the loot's ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna go take a quick break, I think. And after that, unless anyone has any questions, anything else they want to talk about for the Salamander fight, we're gonna move over to looking at Foundry. We're gonna try to import like a custom tile set in Foundry. Start working on figuring out that software and how to kind of migrate over slowly. So yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.